So Need For Speed Unbound has finally released a trailer for the upcoming game and has had mostly positive and also negative reactions, as they are for any game that releases these days. And even though I feel excited about this game, I couldn't let myself get too excited. And I know most of us feel the same, because of the past couple of games. Is there anything we should be worried about as Need for Speed fans? Is a question that I've been asking myself recently, and I think I know the answer to that now. So firstly, let's talk about the actual trailer and the footage that we have right now. As for the trailer, whoever's responsible at EA or Criterion or whatever really know what they're doing, because the trailer it's good. It's really good, and I really do like it. I like the vibe. This game feels more like Need for Speed 2015, which is a positive for me, because that game actually has very good atmosphere and like feeling, and had great vibes. So this also complements that for me. I really do like the characters, the cell shading that they're added to this game. I really think that's a positive thing, that you actually have freedom of creativity, which means that they can do stuff like this. Because this is actually something that reminds me of Need for Speed Underground 2, because Underground 2 also had like a comic style to the story, like to the cutscenes, so that is a positive for me. I really do enjoy it. I really like that A$AP Rocky is in this game too, like having a character like that. I really feel like it also complements the game in a good way. So all around, thumbs up for the trailer. As for the game footage, I thought it was quite interesting in a way. To begin with, the gameplay was very much like the older Criterion games, if you know what I mean. If you go back and look at Need for Speed 2012 or Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 actually, you will see a lot of the same style when it comes to the gameplay. And also a bit of Need for Speed Heat, which actually looks like a lot of fun. It looks great, to be honest, and I can't wait to actually play it on my own. Now we actually get more of the art style also shown, which is great, but there is something a bit off about this gameplay trailer, to be honest, or the gameplay in general. I feel like this gameplay actually looks a little bit like a game like Hot Wheels or something. I don't know what it is about this specific. I don't know if it's the body kit with the combination of the art style that reminds me a bit of like a Hot Wheels type of game. And I know the Hot Wheels type of game is completely different from this one, but kind of reminds me of it, which is a bit of a annoyance or something that I kind of feel like shouldn't be there. But Break to Drift is still in the game, which I don't really know what I feel about it, as long as it is fun and it is not as like glitchy as the other ones. Like in Need for Speed Heat, it was kind of awful, to be honest. In some areas you would like glitch into the map. I think you know what I mean, but as long as that is fixed, I think that it will be fun, and I'm semi-okay with it. But what is also interesting is that we got a bit of drag racing from the trailer, which is also very nice. It actually looks like Need for Speed Underground type of drag racing, which brings me to question, like, are we going to have that in the game? Because that would be awesome, and I would love it. I would totally be in love with the game in that case, because I really do miss that type of Need for Speed. But what is also interesting, there's a lot of stuff to cover here, guys, is the logo above the cars when they actually go into the corners in the gameplay footage that we see. Are these logos, like, are these crew logos? Because if we actually take a look at the map right here, if I can bring it up real quick, we actually do see these type of logos up here to the right. For an example, like, it's the same type of art style. I don't know if I'm completely like, we also see them here. But what is also interesting about this map, which nobody has talked about, is the characters that are presented to us right here. As we can see, it says in a very like small letters, but it says Rydell, and also up here it says Yaz, which could be spoilers for the main characters of the story, because it actually, as we see here, we actually do see receipts and a bit about their personality, I guess. And that is why we have these stickers right here to see what these characters are about, which is also very interesting. And I do appreciate little spoilers like these. They wouldn't be putting stickers up here for no reason. And what I also noticed down here is this kind of pink slip thing. It kind of looks like a pink slip, and honestly reminds me of that a lot. And it's mostly because of this car sign over here. It actually says 3 blue boxes Rydell. So Rydell probably lost a race and now has to pay for some kind of thing. I don't actually know, but hopefully this is something that they will implement in the game, because that would be also awesome and great. And they also kind of mention it in the trailer when A$AP Rocky mentions that he will give you the car if you win the race. I don't know, it's more so a speculation, but it is a possibility that pink slips will be in the game. Something that they actually mentioned in the IGN article that I will link down below if you want to read it yourself, is that we will have bets. So people in the game will be able to make bets with each other, which is awesome, and which is something that should be implemented in this next upcoming Need for Speed. And it's great. They explain here how it's gonna work, and that Need for Speed also is gonna have a different campaign structure with a single player campaign and a multiplayer campaign, very much similar to GTA 5, which I think is a very positive thing if they do it right. So we will just have to wait and see, I guess, how that's going to turn out. As for the car list, they actually have added some cars that I really do enjoy, like G6 Eclipse, RX-8, Silvia, and 130e Mercedes, which is great. It's fine, it's actually quite nice to have those cars in the game. But the problem is not having enough of them. Not enough of new cars. There are a lot of cars though. I think it is actually doubled since Need for Speed Payback, which is good. But I really would like them to add cars like Evo 7, R33, and even like a ZL1 Camaro or something like that, to have a bit more newer cars presented to us in this game, because the car list hasn't changed at all and kind of feels very mediocre when you look at it, and kind of raises a question mark for me. Like maybe they actually put in a lot more work in terms of gameplay and the actual video game, which would be a positive thing and something myself personally wouldn't mind at all. Maybe these cars might be added in some form of DLC, but don't expect too many of them. I don't think Need for Speed really... I don't really think Criterion would put a lot of cars, maybe 5 to 10 cars in total for free. Maybe, I don't really know how they plan the DLC at all, it's something we have to see in the future, but for now, not a lot of new cars, not a lot to say, to be honest. As for the customization, there's not a lot right now. Everything we have is new wheels, bumper delete, and S14 ridiculous body kit. I mean, that's everything we have in terms of customization. They seem like they went more for the maximal level when it comes to the looks of the S14 as an example, with the wing and body kit, which was, I mean, it looks great and I really like the style they're going for. And it looks good for now. Let's just see what they will do in the future. The problem that I have with the footage that we have gotten so far is that the Need for Speed 2015 trailer and the Need for Speed Heat trailer were also very good. They were presented in a good way, but when the actual game came out, it wasn't really what we wanted and what we expected. And also the trailers actually look a lot similar. Like a lot of elements from these trailers are very similar to the new trailers, which kinda also makes me question the trailer a bit and the game a bit. And something that has been throwing me off a bit, I think most of all of these things that I'm mentioning to you today, is the multiplayer. As we can see here in the IGN article, it says right here, multiplayer meanwhile has tuned to be as low friction as possible. When you go into the multiplayer mode, you can drive around the world, meet up with friends, or just mess around. While there, people will be pinging off race requests and playlist requests, and you can seamlessly join any one of those events at any time, Crimin says. Now this sounds super boring and a lot like the Heat multiplayer, which was awful. Let's not talk about how awful the Need for Speed Heat multiplayer was. It wasn't even a multiplayer, to be honest. It was just open world, do whatever you want kind of multiplayer. We need better multiplayer. This sounds awful and has me a bit worried, because if they do not implement a good multiplayer for this game, it will die quicker, or maybe as quickly as Heat, something like that. This is not good for a franchise at all if this is the only thing that's going to be implemented for the multiplayer. I mean, that is what we've been missing all these years: a good multiplayer, good handling, a good game in general. So I really hope they nailed this multiplayer, and let's just have a bit of patience and actually wait and see what is going to be presented to us, because as for now we have gotten a bit of a taste of what the game is going to be about, but let's just see. And I'm gonna keep my hopes like in the middle, not really judge too quickly, and that is my suggestion to you too. Like, do not judge this game too quickly. The break to drift for this game, I'm a bit annoyed, to be honest, that it has break to drift, but to be honest, as long as it is fun, like, I have no problems with it at all. Like, we need a fun game. I think that is the most important thing for us as fans. I mean, we can't expect everything that we want to be implemented in this game. We have to also understand that they are trying to reach as many people as possible with this game, so everything can't be implemented, but as long as the core game is good, I think that will do for most fans. I also saw a couple of people actually complain about the elements of this game, and that it looks a lot like a reskinned Heat, which I don't really see. I mean, some things are gonna look similar because it's run on the same engine. Of course, it's gonna look a little bit similar, but it really doesn't remind me all that much about Heat at all. I mean, I think the point is quite subjective in my opinion. As for the map, it looks good, but the thing is the map layout also reminds me a bit of Heat, which kind of like sends me the wrong signals here, like, okay, have you actually changed something? But if we actually do look at the pictures, the map actually looks pretty good, so I'm not too worried about that. But as I said earlier, let's just wait and see what this game can bring to us before we hype it too much, because that can be very, very bad for us fans if they do not make a good game, which I just hope that they do. And it looks promising, but a bit of patience, guys. We gotta keep it calm. And that is it for me today. Thank you for watching this video all the way through. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in another video. Goodbye.